What's the number one thing you need to know heading to birth? Well, let's talk about it. This video is for pregnant moms who feel like they're white-knuckling it through pregnancy. And you're doing everything right. You're doing the appointments, you're doing the vitamins, the preparation, but no one has addressed the stress you're carrying your body every single day. And you deserve more than generic advice. In this video, you'll discover how your stress hormones directly impact your baby's brain development, why your nervous system is like the air traffic controller for your entire pregnancy, and what actually happens in your body and your babies during birth, and the missing piece of prenatal care that can change everything for both of you. Now, first, I want to share 2 birth stories with you, and I want you to see the difference. Sarah came to her birth hopeful and prepared, but as her due date passed, the conversation started to change. There's a lot of talk of not waiting too long, or scheduling, or helping things along. Eventually, induction felt like the safest next step. Once labor began, it moved fast in intensity. The contractions were strong, overwhelming, and Sarah's body didn't have much time to adjust. An epidural became necessary, which brought some relief, but it also meant less movement and fewer position changes. Progress slowed, and Liam started showing signs of stress. And that's when the room shifted. More people came in, decisions were made quickly, forceps were used, and Liam was born after a very intense delivery. And after birth, Liam needed extra checks. He was taken across the room, then out of the room, and Sarah remembers lying there exhausted, watching time pass before she could finally hold him. And that early window of calm, of co-regulation, just didn't happen the way she had imagined. And in the weeks that followed, Sarah noticed things no one warned her about. Feeding felt hard, latching was a struggle, Liam was gassy, uncomfortable, and cried for hours in the evenings. Sleep was broken for everyone, and she was told some babies are just colicky. But what Sarah was really seeing was a nervous system that had experienced a lot very early on and was still living in protection mode. This story isn't about blame or regret. It's about understanding how birth stress can show up later and knowing that support can make a difference. So let's do a different story now. Emily's labor began quietly in the early hours of the morning. There was no rush, no clock on the wall driving decisions. The room was calm, the lights were low, and she felt safe and supported. Her body led the process. Contractions built gradually, giving both her and Noah time to adapt. There was movement, breathing, and trust in the process. No one hurried them along. When Noah was born, he was placed immediately on Emily's chest, skin to skin, heart to heart, and they stayed that way. No separation, no urgency, just connection. And Noah's breathing slowed as Emily's did. The nervous systems regulated together. Feeding came more easily, latch felt natural, and Noah settled quickly and rested peacefully in those first few hours and days. There were still normal newborn movements, growth spurts, cluster feeding, long nights, but his body seemed calm and adaptable. And Emily often reflects on how supported that experience felt. Not perfect, but peaceful. And a regulated start gave Noah's nervous system a strong foundation as he learned how to live in the world. And just as important, even when birth doesn't look like this, it's never the end of the story. The nervous system is resilient, adaptable, and capable of healing with the right care. Now, obviously, these births are drastically different, and not just because of providers, where they're born, but ultimately the state of the mom and baby's nervous system. So, 1, your nervous system is your baby's first teacher. I want you to think of your nervous system as the air traffic controller of your entire body. It coordinates your heartbeat, digestion, sleep, immune response, and stress reactions, all without you thinking about it. Now, the autonomic nervous system has 2 main parts. The sympathetic system, your gas pedal, that activates when you need to respond to something, and the parasympathetic system, your brake pedal, that helps you rest, digest, and recover. When everything works right, you press the gas when needed and the brake pedal when needed. But chronic stress causes these 2 pedals not to be used at the right times and, more importantly, not to be able to flow from one to the other. Now, why does it matter for birth? Birth isn't just a physical event, it's a nervous system event. Labor actually begins in the parasympathetic dominant state. Oxytocin, the hormone that starts contractions, is released more effectively when mom feels safe and calm. As labor progresses to pushing, the nervous system must shift to sympathetic activation, but only at the right time. When mom enters birth already stuck in stress mode or can't flow from gas and brake, the sequence gets disrupted. Research links safe birth environments to shorter labor, increased oxytocin release, and lower pain. And after birth, baby's first regulation comes through co-regulation with mom. Skin to skin, eye contact, heartbeat rhythm. If mom's nervous system is dysregulated, that co-regulation loop is harder to establish. Now, the missing piece of prenatal care. Standard prenatal care monitors your baby's growth, screens for complications, and tracks development. All essential work. But there's usually no assessment of your nervous system's function. You get told to reduce stress without any way to measure whether your system is regulated or stuck. And this is where neurologically focused chiropractic care fills the gap. Through insight scans, including thermal imaging, surface EMG, and heart rate variability, we can objectively measure how your nervous system is functioning. Gentle adjustments help restore balance between your gas pedal and brake pedal. And when your nervous system is regulated, your baby's developing system learns regulation too. Now, you can't control every variable of pregnancy and birth. Sometimes life-saving interventions are needed, and we are so grateful for those. But even when those are needed, we need our nervous system to know what to do. And before birth comes, we can choose to support the one system that influences everything else, your nervous system. The early in pregnancy is better, but it's never too late to start. If you're ready to get real answers about your nervous system function, our team at Vanilla Chiropractic will love to help. Click the link in our bio, or you can comment below, or send us a DM to schedule your neurological insight scans. Your baby's nervous system is being shaped right now. Let's make sure it's learning calm.